Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? My name is Clayton. This is PTA, joined alongside Tim in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I'm down here in Tennessee here to talk Packers Vikings this evening. Got an awesome show for you guys and gals as Victory Monday rolls on with the Packers 23-6 victory over the Minnesota Vikings at Lambeau Field. Tonight, we're going to talk a little Jordan Love injury. I don't think enough people are talking about Jordan Love's injury and how much it may have hindered him yesterday. Now we're starting to see some other people tweet some stuff out. I want to cover that, kind of give us a little bit of an update there. Just have a conversation about that. Christian Watson, top 10 wide receiver. We'll explain what that means. Micah Parsons absolutely dominating. We already started diving into the tape, so I got a little teaser, a little appetizer, if you will, for tomorrow's show when we do Chalk Talk. Isaiah McDuffie and Edgerrin Cooper, where they rank now in terms of PFF grades is absolutely wild. We'll hit that. And then, of course, we'll get all the PFF grades in from the Packers-Vikings game yesterday. Before we get into that, do that YouTube stuff for me. Hit like, hit subscribe. If this is your first time tuning into PTA, welcome. Thank you for making us a part of your evening. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media members. We're fans just like you talking Packers on the daily. So if you look for that type of content, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. Tim, we got a lot to cover, man. We have a whole bunch of information to get into. Is there anything you want to hit before we kind of jump into everything head first here?
No, let's dive right in, man. Victory Monday continues. Let's go.
That's right. Let's start off with a little Jordan Love talk, guys. And again, we seen them really, really lean into the run yesterday, right? I mean, we watched the Packers just run the hell out of the rock, and there's some people that didn't like that. They thought we should have thrown more, this and that. We're being too conservative. Want to explain why. And again, in the post-game show, we talked about it. We're like, man, it's obvious something's wrong with Jordan's shoulder still from that hit he took in New York, or against the New York Giants, I should say, right? So we seen him, handing the ball off weird. I've actually got the tape. I found it on a clip there from the All-22. We'll hit it. But I want to shout out Alexander Basarski over at Basarski Productions, good friend of the show, said same injury Love has, but people still are upset he didn't throw the ball 40 times yesterday, as he quote tweeted an Adam Schefter tweet that said, pre-MRI, the Buccaneers believe Baker Mayfield suffered a sprained AC joint in his left shoulder per sources. There was no fracture and no structural damage. One source said the Buccaneers, quote, are not ruling out Mayfield for Sunday's game versus the Cardinals, but today's MRI will reveal more, right? So obviously what Baz is doing here, Tim, is just pointing out, like, look, we've got a portion of the fan base that's upset that Jordan's not throwing the ball, like he said, 40 times yesterday. We're pressing into the run. It's obvious that was the game plan going in, was like, look, we got to really limit the hits that Jordan takes. I don't think it's so much about him throwing the ball. And it does explain, however, remember me talking about in the postgame show, Tim, he dirted that ball down the seam on that one throw? Yep. That explains it, right? Because I was like, man, that looked really weird. And then, of course, you had some other plays where he looked a little bit funky. As a matter of fact, I'll pop this up on the screen real quick. Found this on the All-22, and it got mentioned on the broadcast as well. It was amazing that the announcers didn't realize it was his shoulder. I didn't even really know what was going on. But I just said in this tweet here, Jordan Love picking up right where Favre and Rodgers left off, playing hurt. Played last year with 3 injuries, and here's a good look at the opposite side handoff dealing with the separated shoulder. The Packers have their third straight throwback quarterback. He is nails. So you'll see here, guys, in slow motion. I try to slow it down. He drops back, should have handed off with his left hand. Instead, he hands it with his right hand. That's how much that left shoulder is bothering him. You seen him kind of wince, too, as he went back, and he's getting the hell out of Dodge, right, to make sure he doesn't take any kind of hit there, too, Tim. So, again, just wanted to point out other people are now mentioning, hey, this is why he didn't throw the ball as much yesterday. You want to get him rested up for Thursday, obviously, against the Lions, because I do think it'll be I think it'll be much more difficult to run against the Lions than it was the Vikings. But I got to be honest with you, man. We ran the ball pretty effectively against the Vikings, and that was a pretty solid defense, if I remember correctly. I'll try to take a glance at some of the rankings here. Yeah. In terms of the defense coming into yesterday, let's just go points per play here real quick. Detroit is ranked 12th in the league in points per play. Minnesota's just 2 spots behind them. So in terms of scoring defense, right? Not much of a difference. In terms of yards per play allowed, Detroit is 7th best, and Minnesota's 9th best. That was, like I said, coming into yesterday. So Detroit probably dropped a little bit with all the points they gave up to the Giants too, Tim. But again, you want QB1 to be able to throw the football. However, the ultimate goal is to keep him healthy for the rest of the year. I wouldn't be surprised if we'd really try to press into the run on Thanksgiving, man. What's your take on all that? How do you feel about Jordan Love and obviously this injury that I really do think mainstream media is not – they're not
touching it.
Yeah, right.
And they're not touching the Packers either. I mean, you wouldn't even know if you watched the national media today that there was even a football game between Minnesota and Green Bay yesterday. The way that they're covering it. And not surprised that Baz picked up on this too. Big shout out to Baz. And it's a credit to the install all week long, right? You got Jordan backhanded, left-handed handoffs with the right hand. And there wasn't a single botched exchange at all in this game, which is, I don't know. I mean, that's pretty surprising to me. And it says a lot about what's going on with that AC joint or shoulder separation, whatever you want to call it. You compare it to Baker Mayfield like Baz did, that's genius. And Baker, that was like basically a non-contact. Like he kind of stumbled and kind of fell funny. You look at Jordan took a shot right to that left shoulder directly. So I'm sure it's a little bit different for Jay Money. And, MRIs being negative, it's not broken, it doesn't need surgery. That's great. It doesn't mean it's not painful as hell and affects the way you play football. So credit to Emmanuel Wilson, credit to Jordan for, getting these backhanded fakes off, and we didn't miss a beat in the run game. And if we got to do the same thing on Turkey Day in Detroit, then let's do it, Yeah.
Whatever it takes, man. And listen, you got to tip your cap to Matt LaFleur.
Yeah.
The fact that you were without Josh Jacobs and essentially without your starting quarterback too, you couldn't play him the way you wanted to, right? And if we had known it was going to be as bad as it was going into the game, we were a little. I was very bullish on hitting the over on Jordan Love's passing yards. I thought they would come out and throw the ball around, and then by the end of the first quarter, it's like, oh no, there's something's going on there. So again, you credit Tim with going out there, toughing it out, and credit Matt LaFleur for going, you know what? Don't worry about it. Jordan, we'll win it, but we ain't got Josh Jacobs. I don't care. I'll scheme this thing up. We'll be all right.
Yes, sir.
Love to see it. Now, moving on to some more Jordan Love conversation here real quick before we wrap this part up. I want to give a shout out to somebody on X. This is Kevin Cole over on X. Had tweeted out quarterback efficiency, EPA per play, minimum 150 dropbacks through week 12 Sunday Night Football. So it doesn't include this Monday night matchup that's going to be kicking off here shortly, I believe, between Carolina and San Francisco. Jordan Love still leads the National Football League. As a matter of fact, I think he leaped over Drake May yesterday at a positive 0.29 EPA per play. Drake May's at a 0.28, then Sam Darnold 0.26, Patrick Mahomes 0.24. And, of course, if you want to just kind of cross-compare that, because I know Bears fans have somehow convinced themselves that Caleb Williams is playing better than Jordan Love, you'll notice Caleb Williams is 21st in the league with a positive 0.08 EPA per play. So, again, Jordan Love just continuing to play really good football. And I love the fact that he just protected the football yesterday too, man, instead of trying to go out there and play hero ball knowing you're hurt, knowing he didn't can out of run plays. He didn't check at the line. He didn't do all that. It's just, hey, let's stick with the game plan. Let's run the rock. Let's let them make the mistakes. Let's let 9 go out there and lose the game for the Vikings, and we'll just coast in here for a nice little easy victory. It says a lot about this team, Tim, that you can go in there and play like that and not have to be overly aggressive and get a 3-score win. I mean, it really says a lot about where they're at. I think mainly in the trenches, mostly on defense, but you've seen a little bit on offense too, man. They were able to move the rock.
Great point that you made there. Credit to Tupac LaFleur for the game plan, right? I mean, you put your starter out there, QB1, and you want to make sure he's not getting worse with that shoulder, and you literally scheme up a game plan designed around it to keep him safe. We actually saw, a couple of plays where I believe Jordan canned out of a pass and canned to a run just because, whatever the read was or whatever the reasoning was. So like, to your point, he's trusting that game plan that they had in install and, trusting Jeff Hafley's defense, like you said, in the trenches. I mean, look at how many 3-and-outs were generated, how many turnovers. One thing I think nobody is given the Packers credit for is, you had another turnover created on a 4th and 1 that Minnesota tried to go for.
Yeah.
And, that's a turnover on downs by your defense. I don't care what anyone says. It ain't going to jump off the stat sheet at you. But that's a turnover, man. You stood them up on 3rd and short, and then you did it again on 4th and short. That's a credit to Hafley and DeMarcus Covington there in the trenches getting it done. And I love it.
We'll break that play down on Chalk Talk tomorrow as well. And they're continuing that tendency of playing an under front against heavy sets.
Yep.
And it's really impressive that they literally will play under. It's like they're begging them to run to the strong side of the formation. And it seems like teams are still hesitating to try to stretch it out wide because they know how quick, how fast this Packers defense is. That's the best I can come up with there. But very, very interesting to see them continue to play under fronts on those type of plays. Corey Murphy in the chat says, yeah, maybe this O-line is putting it together. There were some things that changed too. I'm going to briefly mention it here. Me and Tim talked about it a little bit earlier. Snap count on the offensive line. Zach Tom, 65 snaps. Aaron Banks, 65 snaps. Sean Ryan, 65 snaps. Rasheed Walker, 65 snaps. Anthony
65%.
65%. That's what Anthony Belton at right guard, 45 snaps. All right. Check this out.
They pulled the Escalade out of the garage, man. They got him out there. I love it.
And again, I didn't notice anything on the tape that said, wow, he played great. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I would love to be coming on here tonight and be like, Anthony Belton was a dog. I didn't see it. Right. He didn't play horrible in my opinion, but I didn't see some people I think got excited just to see him out there. But 45 snaps. Next in line, Darian Kennard with 21 snaps. And you guys know he plays that extra Y, right? He plays the extra tight end position when they want to go to the heavy sets. Then Jordan Morgan at 20 snaps. Jacob Monk, 0 snaps. So if yesterday was any indication, they may finally have turned the corner and said, all right, Anthony Belton is going to play right guard. And let's put Jordan Morgan on the bench and hopefully get him working dominantly, or primarily, I should say, on the left side of the offensive line, get him ready to take over at left tackle if they don't extend Rasheed Walker. That's what I would like to see happen. I'm sick of the whole trying to force a square peg in a round hole, that whole thing. But again, I digress. I think that it could have been a game plan thing too, Tim. Hell, for all we know, maybe Jordan Morgan was a little banged up or got banged up in the game and we didn't notice it, right? And they just decided, hey, let's limit his snap count. I think we will find out on Thanksgiving, though, against Detroit, whether or not that's going to continue there with Anthony Belton playing right guard. So
I think to your point, it's valid. I don't think anything like jumped off the tape as like phenomenal play. But when you see, a rookie go out there and not be a liability and be able to play some damn good snaps for you, especially in a run heavy game, especially in a position that, you don't necessarily play all the time. That was the bright spot that I saw with Big Escalade out there at right guard.
Yeah, and I've seen people bragging on our boy Emmanuel Wilson in the chat here. This play is another one that makes Chalk Talk. I usually don't include 1-yard touchdowns. There's not much to break down. You got a yard, right? But this one, as I said in this tweet, the box score will show a 1-yard run, but the tape shows Emmanuel Wilson running through an MFer's face. Watch this run right here, guys. It's going to be an A-gap run, right? It's going to be a 21 dive, essentially. Watch him, and I'll slow it down here for you too. Look at this. Linebacker meets him in the hole. Just crumbled him, dude.
Linebacker and a D tackle.
Yeah, absolutely crumbled. Look at Sean Ryan driving out of there too, man. That's what you want to see. Now, there's Jordan Morgan on that play, right? He didn't block a damn person.
That's like you were saying, right? If you're gonna bail or you're gonna guess or commit, it's to the inside, not to the outside. And he bit to the outside on that one.
And again, that's Emmanuel Wilson right there, dude. That's a grown ass man.
Is that the one he was talking about? He stopped his feet. I didn't stop mine. I love it.
Guarantee that's what it was.
I love it.
So again, Emmanuel Wilson with a great game there, and just wanted to show somebody said it in the chat. They said, 9 to be fair to 9 over in Minnesota, he didn't have Emmanuel Wilson in the backfield, right? Emmanuel Wilson was balling out. Let's go to the injury report real quick before we change gears here, Tim. This is the first one, guys. Understand. This is one of those where if they had practice, this is kind of a projection, as Paul Brittle said. Packers estimated injury report. Jacobson, Golden Limited, Nixon, and Van Ness did not participate. Now, Baz on Twitter, he seemed to think, oh, no, LVN took a step back. But I will tell you this, not only but I think Anthony over on X as well. He usually hops in here on the show as well. I noticed, and he noticed it as well. He pointed it out to Baz, that late in the fourth quarter, LVM was in. I think it was the McDuffie interception. LVM was rushing the quarterback. So he did come back, and this just may be precautionary here. He was limping, so he wasn't 100%. So Baz was wondering, oh, no, did he have a setback? Thinking he may have not gone back into the game, and he did confirm he didn't know that he went back in the game. So I just wanted to mention that. I think that's good news that he went back in. However, obviously something's still bothering him because he went in for a few snaps early and he just started hobbling. So
and we still don't know what it is, right? It's just foot, right?
Right.
I'm wondering if he's dealing with the same crap Bird was dealing with the Jones fracture. And, LVM's just gritting through it and trying not to have the surgery so he's available. That's pure unadulterated speculation on my part. But you see a guy that's clearly not 100%, but is trying to get back. And the fact that he did come into the game again is a good sign. But clearly he's playing through something, and you got to love the grit on Lucas Van Ness, just doing what he's got to do to see the field, even if it is 10 snaps or 8 snaps or whatever it is. Like you said, he's in on a play, rushing the quarterback, and we get a pick. We'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's just kind of focus on the did not participate. What would have been projected as did not participate. Carl Brooks, we talked about him having very limited snaps. It's obvious he's hurt with the ankle injury. He would not have participated. Keyshawn Nixon would not have with the neck stinger. Lucas Van Ness wouldn't have with the foot, and Savion Williams wouldn't have with the foot. So just to kind of give you an update on that, nothing's really changed on the injury report other than I think we would all say we're hopeful, and I'm kind of expecting both Jaden Reed and Josh Jacobs to be in the lineup on Thursday. It was kind of the plan to hold them out, it seemed like. I could be wrong there. We'll see as we get a little later in the week. But I think you'll have both of those guys back. And there's a chance you'll have Quay back, too, as they said he would have been limited with the neck injury, right? So just a couple of players that kind of stick out to me there. On Detroit's side, Terry and Arnold would have been limited with a concussion. You had Brian Branch limited with the toe/ankle, which he's been banged up for a while, I believe. Did not participate for Graham Glasgow, center, Kirby Joseph, safety. Who else? Khalif Raymond, wide receiver, and then Brock Wright, tight end. So they've got a long injury list here as well. We'll keep an eye on that and monitor as we get closer to Thursday.
Keep an eye on that tight end position, right? I mean, they're already down there, TE1. Now it looks like you're down another one. So that's certainly going to change things offensively from Detroit's standpoint for sure. And then, hopefully Brian Branch misses this game, but I doubt it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see, man. I'm trying to think. Is it Kirby Joseph that's been out a while now, guys? Is it him that's been out with the knee? I'm thinking. I could be wrong there, but I want to say he's missed some significant time now. But
that would make sense, right? He's DNP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'm remembering that correctly. But anyway, let us know if you're watching this video back later. Let us know in the comments. How do you feel about that injury report? Also, how do you feel about Jordan Love? Did that kind of answer the questions for you like it did for us in terms of, him not looking like himself out there? And what do you think about Matt LaFleur's game plan that he put together to try to just kind of coast in there on that victory against a Minnesota Vikings team that obviously were not ready to play, man. They got their ass kicked in every phase of the game. And I think they said they had, 40 yards in the second half of total offense. I mean, that's just insane. So, again, let us know in the comments what you think, and make sure you hit subscribe and click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. All right, Tim, let's shift gears to wide receiver here, man. Christian Watson, we'll hit the grades from the game here in a bit. But
real quick, Bates update. Kirby Joseph's missed the last 5 games, so you were correct. You were definitely correct on the knee issue with him.
Yeah, so he'll be out, man, for sure. Yep. But most likely, right? Seeing that they already have listed as did not participate. All right, wide receiver, Tim. Christian Watson, he's been on one this year, no doubt. So I just put a tweet out. Green Bay Packers Christian Watson takes another jump in rankings, grading out as the 10th best wide receiver in the NFL, according to PFF. So Christian Watson is now officially an 82.3 PFF grade with an 83.4 receiving grade and a 61.8 run blocking grade. Look at the run blocking grades over to the side, guys. And look where Christian's at. I mean, he's definitely in the top half of those players in terms of run blocking grade. You'll see it on Chalk Talk tomorrow, too. Putting him at Z nasty, shifting into the wing, and him being a blocker. He's completely healthy. He's good to go. I am not concerned about that knee whatsoever moving forward. But the fact that he is the 10th highest graded receiver now, Tim, and he's under contract this year and next year. Number one, Jackson Smith and Jigba with a 94, Puka Nacua 93, Drake London 90, George Pickens 90, Amon-Ra St. Brown we'll see on Thursday with a 90, Jamar Chase 84, Jalen Waddle 83, Devontae Adams 83, and DeAndre Hopkins with an 82. Right on his heels with an 82.3 is our very own Christian Watson. He's grading out above people like Rashee Rice, Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, and a whole bunch of other great wide receivers. So Scoot, all of a sudden, man, you look up and go, damn, is he a top 10 wide receiver? Is that what we're seeing here?
That's what we're seeing right here on this list, right? And
that's what you're
correct
seeing.
Me if I'm wrong, he's the only receiver on this list that's played 5 games. I mean, everybody else on this list has pretty much played ball all year, correct?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Scoot is in the top 10 right here, and he just finished his 5th game back from injury.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
It is, man, and he should be continuing to pick up momentum. And even in a game like yesterday where you just ran the ball heavy and your quarterback was banged up, he still made 2 or 3 plays that I remember, like crucial catches. And you're seeing his route tree has started to extend. They're working him on comebacks and out routes a lot more now. And
we saw that yesterday, right? That shot that Jordan took towards the sideline, put it into space, and Scoot just slid under it, made a catch, moved the sticks,
So when you look at somebody like Christian Watson, you kind of break down the whole player profile. You go, okay, does he have speed? Yes. Does he have size? Yes. Does he have catch radius? Yes. Does he have hands? He does now, boy. There's no denying that now. He's got hands. Can he run all of the routes on the tree? That's what we're seeing this year. And I didn't expect that. I told you guys going into the season, I expected his hands to be improved because he's going to be limited on what he could work on in terms of route running and technique and things like that in the offseason with the knee. Damn, he comes back and now he's running more routes on the tree than I've ever seen him run. So, yeah, you got a player here that I'm going to be 100% up front. I'm not ready to say he's a top 10 wide receiver, but he's damn sure a top 32 wide receiver. He's definitely a number. It's kind of like the whole Carrington Valentine thing. Like, I feel like, all right, that's a top 32 corner the way he's playing right now. But Christian Watson, you give me 2 or 3 more games like he's played, and I'll be going, yep, he's top 10. Hell, he may be top 5 by the end of the year. So I'm really excited to see what Christian does, especially continuing to grow with Jordan Love in this offense. And as Jordan Love gets a little bit healthier too. But yeah, that's some big names there, Tim, to be in the mention with, man. Devontae Adams, DeAndre Hopkins, Jamar Chase, people like that.
Yeah, and like to your point, Clay, like none of these guys on this list are one-dimensional receivers, right? So you talk about Scoot's route tree kind of getting opened up in this offense. I think it speaks to Matt LaFleur and the boys when they're scheming him up. Like they're not worried about the knee either. They're cutting him loose. We've seen slot reps, we've seen him on the boundary. It doesn't matter, man. Running a curl, running a fade, running a 9. That's what separates the men from the boys when it comes to being a receiver is, what is the route tree that you're capable of running? And I think as you progress throughout your career, your play caller is going to open those shots up for you a lot more. And we've seen it, like I said, in just, 5 games here, Christian Watson creeping up into the top 10 conversation already. Got to love it.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. Chris Casuan in the chat says Watson's 9 better than Pickens. Pickens is one of those guys, Chris, that if he could get his head out of his ass, he would be a dominant player. He just kind of gets in his own way sometimes. He did that in college, and he's done it in the pros since he, got drafted by the Steelers, and obviously they traded him away. You don't just trade number 1 receivers like that unless they're a little bit of a head case. He's got a ton of talent. But what you're saying here, I completely agree with you. If I had to choose between George Pickens and Christian Watson, I'm going Christian Watson because Christian Watson is a leader. Like that dude, his teammates love him. He works his butt off. He's willing to block. And maybe Pickens is willing to block too. He just ain't got the frame to do it because like Christian's dad said on X the other day, dude, you're talking about 225 pounds of muscle now, right? This guy, he's almost built like a tight end. He's almost built like a flex Y, but he's playing receiver. And I love the fact that Matt LaFleur, once again, you got to tip your cap to the coach, bringing him in from the Z, flexing him or bringing him from the Z to the wing position and letting him block. What you're doing is you're pulling a corner in close to have to cover him in man coverage. If you do that C gap release that's running wild through the league right now, it's kind of the new thing. If you do that and you bring a cornerback into the run fit, that's the type of stuff that allows Emmanuel Wilson to bounce those runs.
We just saw that on the E. Wilson touchdown, right? Scoot moving into the wing, blocking guys into oblivion, and we get a tutter. I love it.
Absolutely. Let's stick with the chat here a sec, see what everybody's saying. So, Turtles, I fear we haven't seen Watson Sillen yet. I think you're right. I don't think we have either.
You can't see it because there isn't one.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go.
Yeah, so that's an exciting place to be. Dick Palinick in the chat says, "Who's the skinny guy filling in for Clayton?" This is the Clayton that's trying to make it to 60. You know what I mean? That's the Clayton there. Yeah, you look up and you got more chins than a Chinese phone book. It's like, all right, we got to get this weight thing under control. So we're and it was doctor ordered. Your boy was having a little spell where diabetes runs in the family, and I was having a little spell there where I was passing out and getting shaky and stuff. We're on the backside of that, and you just got to stop doing what you do, Clayton. And that's eating food. I love food. As I've always said, food's the only reason I don't do drugs. You know what I'm saying? It's the way it works. So,
but you're looking trim, man. You're looking cut up, looking good. You know?
I think that's a compliment. Somebody the other day said they messaged me, and I know that it was well intended, but they messaged me and was like, "Man, I was worried about you, dude. You don't look good. You look like you're damn. Thanks, bro. I appreciate that." Jeez, 1 second, the doctor's telling me I'm dying. The next person telling me I look like I'm sick. I don't know what to do for you people. You know, I might just crack open a daddy soda and turn the phone off. You know what I mean? Let's see here. Chester talking about Christian Watson said he just looks smoother this year. He does. He looks really, really smooth in the releases. He looks smooth in his cutting ability. It's almost like I wonder if him having to slow down a bit for the training in the offseason and everything, getting the knee back right, if he kind of worked on that aspect, right, that you're not just going 110 mile an hour all the time. You know, you're having to go 80% or 70%, and maybe he picked up on something in and out of his breaks that could make him a smoother player. That could be the case for sure. Dave C in the chat says, built like a 4.3 40 running Lazard. That's a great point. If Alan Lazard had like 4.3 speed, he would have been a hell of a receiver. That's the only thing he was really lacking, in my opinion. So he was definitely on the same page with 12 when he was here. So
I wonder if that was the mindset too. Like you're telling Scoot, like, hey, bulk up a little bit. You know, we'll get you back from this knee, and you'll be just as fast, just as strong, and have a little more meat on them bones, right?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So you guys let us know in the comments if you're watching this video back later on Christian Watson. Let us know what you think about Scoot. Do you think he's a top 10 wide receiver? Do you think he's top 20? Do you think that's maybe too low? Maybe you see him as a top 5 receiver and ascending into an even larger role with the Green Bay Packers. And also let us know what you think about the future of Christian Watson. Would you go ahead and get him that contract extension as soon as you're able to do that 1 year from the extension that you just gave him? Or do you think you maybe let him play out that second year and risk the number getting really inflated before he hits free agency? Let us know what you think in the comments. Hit like, hit subscribe, and click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. All right, now, Tim, let's shift gears and talk a little Micah Parsons. This dude, man.
Here's the guy.
What a dominant performance, bro. I mean, he just took over that freaking game. I just put together a couple clips here that we're going to run through, and we'll hit on everything in great detail on Chalk Talk tomorrow. This is our boy Micah Parsons working off the edge. This is against Christian Darrisaw. And if anybody wants to pretend like all of a sudden Christian Darrisaw is not a good tackle, this guy – they just paid him $104 million contract, total contract, $104 million is what they paid him. This is what Micah Parsons does to a $104 million offensive tackle. Outside, jab step back in, taking care of business. Tim, that is just way too easy, bro. Way too easy. Watch him work inside. Bang. That's one of several plays we could show you. Now I'm going to give you another one here where I was watching the tape and I just said, put it on repeat, because after I played that clip or tweeted that clip out, I found another one immediately. We'll see if we can get this thing to stop spinning here. Watch this one here, Tim. So now you've seen him, right? Set up speed outside and then jab back in, rip back in on the inside move. Watch this move here. Same guy, Christian Darrisaw. Look at that. A little chop. Yeah, exactly. And what I want you to key in on is watch Christian Darrisaw at the end. Actually, I think it cuts off. I edited it out. Christian Darrisaw right here, you can kind of see it. He stands back up and goes, he shakes his head like, what the hell y'all want me to do with this guy? Like, seriously, what am I supposed to do with this guy?
Micah, it's all speed and it's technique, man. Like, the technique is incredible. Like, he's so fundamentally sound. and then the speed off the snap is just amazing. I mean, half of these guys are beat before they even get their second, heel in the dirt. Plays over with already.
Yeah. And then Jay Cole in the chat says, what about the Kelly play? You people are never satisfied, Jay. The one clip I don't have, actually, I got that clip. Let's hit it. Here we go. So this is the one that Jay's talking about. This is phenomenal right here. All right. So notice we're playing Joker 1, right? This is Devontae Wyatt lined up right in the face of Kelly, their center. Keep in mind, Kelly, one of the best centers in the game, right? We talked about, I think he graded out in the 80s, I believe, and he's been a little banged up here lately. Well, this was his coming back party right here. It's coming out of the injury pool party. And you'll notice here, Devontae Wyatt in the zero tech, right up playing nose. And then look at Micah at the last second here, Tim. Watch him. Jumping in. Oh, my God. So this is what this is you're going to do, let's say he is technically the Mike on this Joker 1 look, right? This is going to be a Mike T fire, okay? So watch him. This is designed to do this too. As soon as the ball snapped, Micah is going to somehow use his athleticism to jump in front of Wyatt and hit the center before Wyatt does. Watch what happens to the center. Look at this. So you see how Wyatt was working off. I think that's Wyatt, right? That is Wyatt, ain't it?
No,
yeah.
Is that 95 or 96?
That's Wyatt. Yeah, it's just
95. Yep.
I was thinking the same thing. Maybe it was Wood. It's Wyatt. So look, he works off of it. Look at the center. That's Ryan Kelly, guys. I mean, just ass over tea kettle, right? And then look at this, the best part. What's the guard holding him? And he just ragdolls him.
Yeah, get off me, little boy.
Tim, this ain't normal. Like that, he just wrecked through. And like I said in the tweet, Micah Parsons ragdolling 630 pounds of grown-ass men is diabolical. Look, I mean, you're talking about over 630 pounds of pissed-off offensive lineman, and he just runs through one and slings the other like a little kid. And then
That's what I love about these looks, man, in this scheme. Like we were all excited when the deal was done, and we thought about, oh man, we have a premier speed edge rusher.
Right.
I don't think anyone was prepared for lining his ass up in the 0 or in the 1 and just letting him just wreck shop out here. This is amazing. And
I didn't expect him. I didn't expect him to play with so much power. I knew he was a speed rusher and the best in the game at it, right? But I didn't expect him to play with so much power in this game. He's running right through 320-pound linemen like it's nothing. I mean, he's absolutely flattening them. And again, like you said, you called out a hold just a second ago, right? Look at this shot. This is great. I think this is on a sack too.
Oh yeah. Nothing to see here. Don't worry about that.
And it was Lord Lambeau that tweeted it out. He said, "No flag, by the way. They didn't throw a flag there."
Oh, I mean, we got to a point in the, especially in the fourth quarter, where them refs weren't throwing nothing. When the Vikings had the ball, they weren't calling anything. I don't know if that's the unofficial mercy rule or whatever, but we saw a lot of holds there down the stretch in the game, and Micah just fights through them, man. It's incredible to see him double teamed. We even seen triple teams. We saw Aaron Jones trying to chip him, and you had 2 linemen blocking him, and he still finds a way to get through, man. Just like you said, it's a testament to something we might have slept on, which is the power attribute to his game now.
Yeah, absolutely. Mitchell's mommy in the chat says, I think they really underestimate Micah's strength.
Yep.
I know I did. Like I said, man, I know I underestimated it. My gosh, man. It's just unbelievable what he can do. And I think a part of it is I think it's kind of like what Coach Lynn said right here, right? These linemen are already on their heels. They're terrified. Maybe it's more so that they have to respect that speed, get a little on their heels, and he just right through their face,
Yeah. Allows him to be patient there, like you said, able to shoot in front of Heavy D there on that look and get in and blow that play up because they're terrified. You almost had a false start on the right guard there, 71 on that play. I mean, You could tell he was crapping his pants. He already saw what was happening there pre-snap.
Yeah. Biz 1987 says strength for sure, but he's so fast as well. 4.340, they said. 4.340. And somebody who can run through an offensive lineman like that. It's absolutely insane. I mean, you're talking about elite cornerback speed, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. This guy's an edge rusher. I love it.
And, well, like you said too, though.
Yeah. And a run stuffer and a middle linebacker. I wonder if he can kick. I bet you he could kick if we needed him to.
I bet he could. Man, but anyway, I didn't want to spend that much time on it, but I just wanted to kind of hit. That's just a preview for tomorrow's Chalk Talk, our film breakdown. golly, dude, it's so much fun watching Micah Parsons play football, and people tweet it just about every day. I know Big B has tweeted it several times. I still can't believe Micah Parsons is a Green Bay Packer. It's like, how did we pull this off? It's just unbelievable. So let us know in the comments if you're watching this back later. How do you feel about Micah? Is it worth the money now? Do you feel like the Packers are getting their money's worth? Are you okay with sacrificing those 2 first-round picks for getting a player like that? I know I am. There's no guarantee, especially where we're going to be picking, if we're picking in the bottom third of the draft, that you would be able to find a Micah Parsons. I mean, you got to be top 5 to get somebody like Micah in the draft, unless you just hit on an absolute gem, like maybe a TJ Watt, someone that, okay, he's a try-hard guy, he's got some athletic ability, and then all of a sudden, bang, he gets to the league and he's great. But it's just let us know in the comments what you think about this Micah Parsons, the momentum he's creating and what he's doing for the rest of that line too. Devontae Wyatt with 2 sacks, Rashawn Gary with the stripping the ball and forcing the interception. Hell, we have Warren Brinson and Isaiah McDuffie getting on the action. We want to hear from y'all in the comments. Make sure you hit subscribe and click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live in the future. All right, Tim, let's talk a little linebacker now, man. Every week I'm expecting Isaiah McDuffie to kind of take a step back, and kind of come back to reality a little bit, because we've seen him play for several years, right? And every week it doesn't happen. He just continues to get better. Well, I went and pulled these earlier after seeing the grades and everything from the game, which we'll get into here in a second. I went and pulled the numbers and pulled the grades for the season. And I don't want to say to my surprise, but to my delight, I guess you could say, we've got 2 linebackers that are grading out in the top 20 amongst all linebackers in the league right now. All right. So at number
Fred
6,
Warner still at the top of the list?
Oh yeah, he'll always.
That's insane. When's the last time he played a down of football? He's still at the top of the list.
Yeah, Fred Warner is just
monster.
Yeah, he's the prototypical linebacker.
Yeah,
right? And there was people that gave the Lions hell over drafting Jack Campbell. I liked that pick personally. I hated it. I liked it, but I hated it. I was like, man, Jack Campbell's a dog. And then when the Lions took him, I'm like, I hate that pick. But Devin Lloyd with Jacksonville having a good season, right? We could go down the entire list. We won't. But again, the point is, at number 16, Isaiah McDuffie with a 74.5. Number 18, Edgerrin Cooper with a 73.6. We've talked about Quay Walker, and obviously Isaiah McDuffie filled in for Quay. We were wondering, okay, are they just going to put McDuffie in the base and let Hopper run in the nickel? No, they had Isaiah wear the green dot, and this defense, I mean, they didn't miss a beat. Now, this isn't the dog Quay. I feel like Quay is having one of his better years, even though PFF disagrees. But if you're the general manager and you got that offer on the table for Quay, we know there's an offer that's been made that already leaked out. And Quay's kind of holding out like, let me prove I'm worth more, right? Well, now he gets banged up with the stinger, and your backup comes in and kind of, I don't want to say Wally Pips you, but, he comes in and plays well. I imagine that's got to put a little more pressure on Quay to go, maybe I need to take this contract, right? But also on the other side, and I don't know the inside football aspect of, once you make an offer, is it kind of bad pull to pull that contract out from under them and go, all right, the offer is no longer on the table. Do you set a deadline or what have you? But I'm just wondering, we know they love Isaiah McDuffie. We know he knows the defense because he wears the green dot. We know he's under contract this year and next year, I believe, if I remember correctly. He signed a 2-year contract this offseason. Or do you think they'll move forward with McDuffie and pull that offer from Quay? Do you think they'll keep the offer on the table? Because that is kind of a bad look if all of a sudden, nope, it's off the table now. And do you think maybe Quay is now looking at this like, okay, I probably need to take this contract? How do you feel about it? Because I'm very indifferent on the whole thing. Quay is an athletic freak. You line Quay up and Isaiah McDuffie up next to each other on the playground and go, which one you picking? I'm picking Quay, right? Dude's a specimen. But man, what Isaiah's putting on tape right now is just phenomenal. He's playing lights out football right now.
I agree 100%. And I think when it comes to, Goody and the boys at 1265, I would say that they're probably not going to pull the offer. I would think the offer is going to stand. I don't think it's going to change. I don't think they'd pull the rug out from under Quay. And I don't want to speak for Quay, but Yeah, you look around, you just missed a week. You caught a nasty stinger, and those, stingers can hang around too. He might be good to go Thursday and re-aggravate it and be out again. We don't know. It's tough, but I don't see Quay rushing to sign just because of missing some time, and I don't see the Packers full on, giving up on the idea of signing Quay. That's kind of where I'm at right now. I think the offer is the offer. If he's going to test the market after this year, he's going to test the market. It is what it is. He knows what's on the table from Green Bay. We know Goody has a history of, here's my offer. If you like it, sign it. If you don't, sign somewhere else. We don't see a lot of counter offers or, too much negotiating. And then the other thing you worry about, like with McDuffie playing as good as he's been playing, I wonder at what point do we have a conversation about, are there progress stoppers out there for Tyron Hopper? Because I thought Tyron Hopper looked pretty good in the base yesterday, and it's kind of our first real look at him getting like meaningful reps in this defense, as opposed to just filling in or playing special teams. So I think there's a lot of questions swirling around that linebacker room. Not to mention, like you said, hey, we might be picking to the middle or bottom of the draft this year. Doesn't mean you can't hit on a linebacker again, draft another one. So I think there's a lot of questions that are going to be answered here in the near future. But to answer your question, I don't think the Packers are going to pull that offer out from underneath Quay. I wouldn't anticipate it changing.
I think I'm with you there. Now it's going to come down to Quay whether or not he wants to accept that offer or just say, all right, I'm going to plan on hitting free agency. I do feel comfortable saying I don't think the Packers will come back to him and offer more. They're probably looking up going, you know what? As someone said in the chat right here, where it is, Doug says here in the chat, he says that loss isn't looking as bad as it seemed at the time. That's how I feel. But again, it's only one game.
One game, right? Yeah.
So I'm trying to curb the enthusiasm there, Doug, but I know exactly what you're saying, man. Chris,
you make a great point about McDuffie too, right? Like we've been talking about him off and on these past couple of seasons. And the one thing that's true is he has steadily gotten better. Like the improvement is real. You can see it in the numbers. You can see it on the tape.
Yeah, definitely. Chris the Casual said, I'm starting to come around to the Quay contract, so he's on board with re-signing him there. Biz 1987, it's a good problem to have. Amen to that, man. Amen.
Yep.
Dave C says, Hopper always was a not quite as good Cooper, kind of why it was surprising to draft them both in the same year. And I understand your point there, Dave. I don't think that they look at it like, okay, we're going to get this guy, but we'll also add him and they'll both be great. I think that GMs, although they won't say it in the public, whatever arena, they look at it the same way. They look at it from a reality standpoint of, listen, we think he's a great prospect, but the hit rate on draft picks are low for everybody, right? Yep. There's nobody who's truly like figured it out. There's some that are better than others, but the hit rate is so low. If you got a need, take multiple swings. It's just like we talked about with Evan Williams. Evan Williams, we had Javon Bullard with a much higher grade, right? Well, they draft Bullard in the second, and they come back and they get Evan Williams in the fourth. Well, Evan Williams ends up being a better pro right off the bat than Javon Bullard. Well, now you got Javon Bullard starting to creep up and playing better football, right? So if they hadn't taken two swings, we'd still be looking for our safety, I believe, alongside Xavier McKinney, if that makes sense. So I think that's what GMs are doing a little bit more, Tim, is they're kind of, put it this way. If you could have taken two swings at center, and I know where they were picked, it wouldn't have worked out that way. But if you couldn't taken two swings at center to make sure you get the right one, and you would have let's say the draft picks would have fell in a sense that you could have taken, our boy Creed Humphrey and Josh Myers, then we'd be looking up going, we got a hell of a center in Creed Humphrey, and you just let Josh Myers walk, right? Like you kind of double dip there. Center's probably a bad example to use there, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah,
the logic is there. And like you said with Bull and E. Will, like that's a great example too. Yeah, maybe Bullard was, less serviceable as a safety, but man, he's a hell of a nickel corner, man. And like you said, trending upwards. And then you got Evan Williams, who's, balling out of control right now. So to me, that's a hit and a hit right there, varying degrees of it, right? You got a double and a triple there. We'll take that all day.
Yeah. Coach Lynn says we need Quay for sure. As I read that, Coach, I immediately thought God forbid either Cooper or McDuffie gets hurt, right? Imagine not having Quay on the roster and one of those guys get hurt, and now it's Hopper and I'm trying to think of who is it, Nyland or whatever his name is, the backup to the backup to the backup linebacker.
You'd probably be at Iola's own Christian Welch at that point.
Right. So the fact that even if they do decide, all right, let's let McDuffie start over Quay because maybe he's not 100% healthy, or maybe they just like the hot hand that McDuffie has right now, it's nice to know you have Quay in reserve, right? So I'm with you, Coach. Regardless if he's starting or not, we need Quay. Got to have Quay.
Sure.
It's just, as always, it's a boring argument or a boring comment, but it's at the right price always. So, all right. That's going to do it for the linebacker talk. Let us know in the comments what you guys and gals think about McDuffie and the Quay conversation. Which one would you go with? If they're both healthy, would you just pop Quay right back in the lineup? Or are you a little hesitant? Would you rather see McDuffie? And how do you feel about Quay's contract as well? Let us know in the comments. We want to hear from you. Make sure you hit subscribe and click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. That's going to do it for hour 1 of the show. We'll be back here in just a second for hour 2, for those of you listening on the pod, where we're going to cover a little bit of Daniel Whelan talk, not much, but I want to show a clip that's absolutely awesome, and then we'll dive into the PFF grades. We'll see you on the other side for hour 2. We appreciate you.